This week on Deep Space Pride, we catch up on life, some Star Trek news, what else we've been watching, and the latest episode of Lower Decks. Thanks for joining us. Mike.
Well, hello there, Johnson. How are you?
I've been doing okay. It's been a while since we recorded. I feel like these are, monthly at the moment? Has it been a month? I don't even know.
Maybe I don't over either. A month. Time seems to be warped.
Slip through our fingers. It's just going really faster and faster.
It is. The end of the year is fast approaching, and we're almost to Halloween, too. So,
well, I'm already starting to make Thanksgiving plans with people. So
wow,
it's already kind of.
I don't believe I've had my invitation yet from you.
No, I haven't planned out everything. I've been invited to a Friendsgiving, and I'm planning Friendsgiving with. So one's being hosted by someone else, and I need to mark my calendar, and then another one I'm hosting, but it's with the Bible study group from church. So,
got it.
Yeah. I haven't even started planning more personal ones. So
okay.
Yeah. Are you guys doing anything? Are you guys going anywhere? Or staying here for Thanksgiving?
We're staying here.
Okay.
We have oddly enough, Hamish has a grooming the day after Thanksgiving, which is weird.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So we made tentative plans for we made a reservation at the Smith because that's where we went last year. But we're looking at some other places that don't have reservations because it doesn't really make sense for us to cook for two, and it's too much work. So, and
the Smith
I don't know.
Is so mediocre, though.
What?
The Smith is so mediocre.
It's not mediocre. I would say it's
like middling.
Serviceable.
It's serviceable. Exactly. It's like in the middle of the road.
Yes. Yes.
There's
other places we want to go, but they haven't opened up reservations yet.
Oh, okay.
So we just needed a backup plan. So I don't even know if Dennis is working yet. So there is that. All we have gotten to at this point is November 14th with some look ahead to Thanksgiving, but that's it.
Well, you guys are going on vacation in a hot minute.
Yes, we are. 10 days from now. Woo.
10 days from now.
Yes. Of course,
Are you taking PTO or are you working remotely?
No, I am taking PTO. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. I am. Peace out. See you later.
Well, I just know for the past couple of trips, you tried to conserve your PTO.
Yeah, I definitely have. It's just, this time around, I decided to use it because I didn't really want to be working remotely. And, just kind of really needed to chill and relax a little bit. So, So, that's coming up. We leave on Halloween. So,
is the dog going with you or daycare or your sister?
No. So my plan is to bring him up next Sunday. So a week from today up
to your sister's
Massachusetts.
place?
Yeah.
So,
I'm hoping I can convince her to meet me halfway. That would be ideal, but we'll see what happens.
So she'll have him for 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks. So then I'll go up on the 14th. I don't know, not the 14th, the 11th. The 11th of November and go get him. But I think I'm going to go up on Friday and then come back on Saturday. So, but anyway,
does he go crazy every time you come back and see him again after an extended period?
Oh yes, absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yes. Well, he does that when we leave him for a few hours, so it's not just a several weeks thing. So because he gets settled into his routine again, or the routine of wherever he's at, he's good that way. But I have to figure that all out. We have you and I and Tony and Dennis have brunch next Saturday.
Yeah.
So we can't really we can't go up on Saturday. So and actually Hamish is getting groomed on Saturday as well. So
oh my god, so much grooming.
We made these monthly appointments, and we're just sort of yeah. But we're gonna extend it out a little bit longer now, and then probably take him in for like a face trim or whatever.
Okay.
But got it. So yeah, we just made these. Dennis was on point about making monthly appointments for him, and then talked about it, and we were like, we should probably extend that a little bit more. So yeah. So yeah, looking forward to a nice solid 7 days in Mexico. So
fun. Don't get the runs. Just don't drink the water. Yeah, don't eat anything fresh. You know,
I'm sure we'll be fine at a all inclusive. It's probably pretty good. So although
you never know. I mean, when we went, we only had like good food. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, I do have to pick a restaurant for Dennis's birthday dinner. But I haven't gotten to that yet. So we will be leaving the compound, so to speak, for that. So yeah. We're looking forward to it. Fall weather has certainly arrived here, and
I know, I love it.
In some ways it's nice, but in other ways, I don't know. I'm a good 70 degrees, and I would be happy. Like year round, 70 degrees
not would fall. 70 is still summer.
Yes. Well, summer. I would say 70s is still short weather. You know, you could wear shorts and t-shirts and a sweatshirt. And be, you know, but now we're
you liked fall.
I do like the cooler-ish weather. Yeah, that's not bad. But I do miss the warmer weather. But,
I don't miss the bugs. So I don't miss the bugs. There are fewer bugs now. The leaves are turning. Yeah,
I mean, sure.
I like layering too.
Oh. I mean, I like my sweatshirts, so yeah. And I actually have a fall jacket, so I've been wearing that. So yeah. Not liking the rain on the weekends, though. That is ridiculous.
I know, that's been annoying. That's been a little annoying, but
literally every week, every Saturday lately has felt like it's been raining.
I know.
Sort of the joke going around here in New York right now is that every Saturday it rains.
Yesterday morning it was raining, but then in the afternoon the sun came out. So
yeah, it did.
It's not terrible.
So let's see. That's the life and weather report from here in New York.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, the weather becomes more and more interesting as we get older. Honestly, it's fascinating. Yeah. It's definitely a conversation. It's a good icebreaker topic. And it's funny because when I was a kid, literally, like, you know, there were jokes like, oh, yeah, how's the weather? But now that I'm older, it's like literally, it's like every adult conversation you have, it probably starts with the weather.
It's a bit of small talk, right? Like you said, it's an icebreaker, but it's also, you know, you can sort of gauge whether people like this time of year or not.
Right.
I am not a fan of the earlier darkness per se.
Right. Yes. Because you get seasonal disorder or whatever. What's it called?
Yeah. Seasonal affective. SAD.
Yeah.
I'm subject to SAD bouts. So I can sort of start to feel it coming on, which is probably why I'm a little like reticent about the cooler weather. But yeah. But, a week in Cozumel will be nice. And yeah. So,
and you know me, I don't need the sun. So it's kind of like, it doesn't even bother me.
You barely need to leave your apartment.
No, it's true. It's
you
really true.
Are very happily an apartment.
Mole person,
yes.
Yeah.
For lack of, better words.
I think that encapsulates it pretty well. Yeah, I think that it captures the idea well. Yeah.
So let's see what else has been going on. Well, we had New York Comic Con, right?
That's right.
I saw some people walking the streets with cosplay.
Did you want to go? Because you were like, New York Comic Con is this weekend, sad face.
Yeah, I mean, it for the longest time since I've lived in New York. I mean, I think I've been to, so this is my 11th year in New York. I think I've been to a good 6 or 7 Comic Cons. And so, yeah, it's kind of like, I knew this year I couldn't plan it out because we really don't, our lives are, still not clear when all that stuff, all the adoption stuff is going to happen and stuff like that. So, so I knew I couldn't really plan, but seeing the people with their badges and their T-shirts and their cosplay, I was like, oh, I wish I could go. But in reality, no. I mean, I had plenty of work to do, unfortunately, and yeah. But it is, it is one of those things, and I didn't. I get the emails too. So I get the emails like of who's coming. But also I think, at least for me, I don't know if you feel this way, I feel a little bit of a dampening on like genre stuff right now because of the strike.
Oh, sure.
There's definitely a lot less promotion, but also it's, it's disappointing that the AMTMP isn't really making headway. We passed 100 days, I think, in the last day or two. So, yeah, it's just kind of like blah about things. I mean, fortunately, there are a few new things that are coming out that are still being released and whatnot. And I've been actually going into back catalog stuff or rewatching stuff. So
there's plenty of new stuff to watch if you wanted to find it. Trust me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, sometimes it depends on whether I need it for background or like I want to like become involved and forget, or take it check out from the stresses of life. So
yeah. I mean, you usually like to watch things in the background anyway, so it's not like, and you definitely dip back into old stuff, so it's not like even if there was new stuff coming out, like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because new stuff you kind of have to pay attention on. You can't really like, you can't really like zone out and be on your phone and like kind of like just forget the things that are, the work stresses, the life stresses, the all that stuff. So no, I do dip into back catalog stuff, but which I have been recently. So what
have you been watching? What old stuff have you been watching?
Well, it's not
have you been watching any new stuff?
Well,
new stuff and what old stuff?
So new stuff I've been so Ahsoka wrapped up, which I enjoyed.
I thought Ahsoka was fine.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought it was really, really good.
Sabine Wren did not die as I wanted her to. So,
she did come into her own in the end.
I don't think she got what she deserved.
We have a problem with whiny characters. We really do. Whiny and stupid characters.
But she's also let's cite. All
right, so here we go.
Side tangent. Okay, I'm just annoyed that she just didn't have to face her choices. Like she never told Ezra like what she did to get to him. Like they didn't even have that. Like she didn't have to wrestle with that reality. And it's like, oh, see you later, Ezra. And their reunion was so lackluster. Like, it was just like, hey, I haven't seen you in 6 months. Like, that's kind of how it felt. It just didn't feel, and I don't need like all the music swelling or anything like that. But it's just like, it felt just very like, okay, like, a very, very lackluster reunion. And then, she just like was very evasive about how do we even get here. And Ezra didn't even like press her. I just felt like it was just like, it was very like half baked. And then she didn't like have her comeuppance. Like she didn't have to die, but like I felt that there needed to be some level of justice that just wasn't doled out. And Ahsoka forgave her. And look, like I think forgiveness without consequence is not. I don't think that's a good thing. And
you don't think the consequence of being stuck in another galaxy with no possible way home is?
But then they were also kind of okay with it. Like, you know what I mean? They were kind of like, all right. Like, I don't feel they were like, oh my God, we're going to be stuck here forever for the rest of our lives. All right. Well, here we are.
I think that sort of partially came from Ahsoka's development and her like becoming at peace with things.
Yeah, and I get that.
Her growth.
Yes.
I think that's where that whole piece with the situation came from. I don't think it was from Sabine necessarily, but Sabine.
But I don't think Sabine grew. I don't think Sabine grew in the season, and there's so much. The season was literally, it could have been called Sabine, right? Like, because so much of it was about her and her journey and her decision, but it wasn't, and I know there's going to be more, but I don't know she's going to face the consequences of her decisions, the true consequences. And I was just like, I was very displeased about that. I mean, there were some cool things about it.
I think one of the pieces you might have forgotten about, though, is the fact that she did see, or she was aware of, I don't know if she was there or, but she lost her entire family, her entire world.
Sure.
In the Thousand Nights.
Purge of Mandalore.
Yeah, the Purge of Mandalore.
No, I understand.
So some would say,
but that doesn't excuse her. I'm sorry. I don't. No. She's an adult. She's an adult. Well, she fully understood the consequences of giving the map over, and what it would mean for the fate of the galaxy. And it's just, I don't know. I don't like immature characters. I don't like characters that don't think things through. So I was thoroughly annoyed. And I wanted to stab her repeatedly. So, yeah.
Well, there we go. Well, I enjoyed it because I really loved Rebels. I really liked Clone Wars. I should say I loved Rebels. So this was a nice continuation of that. So some of it seemed like, some of it felt more in place. Like I thought it was a little weird, their reunion, Ezra and Sabine's, but I also felt like, you know what, this is actually like their vibe. That's who they are. Like, she's always been kind of standoffish with him to some extent. And, he's kind of like that kid who's always just the cool kid, leaning against a thing, like just chill. Like, so I felt like that was really on point for character pieces for that. But I don't know. I wanted more. I wanted more with oh my gosh, Hera. Okay. I wanted more with Hera.
I wanted more with the droid. With Chopper.
Oh, Chopper.
I wanted more with Chopper.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was really enjoyable. I liked I was happy for the transformation of Ahsoka. I thought
the episodes with Anakin, the one or two with Anakin, they were really good.
Yeah, they were. So
they were excellent.
Yeah, it was so I really enjoyed that. So then so that made me, oddly enough, go back. I'm about to finish up my rewatch of Andor.
Oh, okay.
Kind of enjoyed.
Andor was excellent. I loved Andor.
So I've been watching that. I did rewatch Moon Knight.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. And then what else have I been watching? Have
you been watching Loki? Did you start watching Loki?
I did start watching Loki. It took a couple of tries.
This season's okay. I don't know if it's like I didn't really feel the first two episodes that much for some reason. It felt kind of okay. I don't know what it is. And I don't know if it's because like I forgot a lot of season one. or something that's like slightly
Yeah, I
off
feel
of
like
season
I
two?
almost should have rewatched season 1 just to get into the vibe of it, but yeah, I don't, it's yeah, it was hard to get into. I think what just dropped, episode 3 just dropped,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and things sort of like the action sort of picked up, and sort of the crux of season 2 seems to be like revealed.
Crystallizing a little.
So
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay. Yeah, watch it.
but I feel like yeah, Sylvie has a different vibe now. She's a little bit more serious and like I don't know, I'm not, I don't know. I felt like it was almost like a different character. But yes, I've been watching that. I finally did get into that. Let's see. I've been rewatching some old Doctor Who, like the stuff that's on Max. Because new Doctor Who is just around the corner.
Yeah.
And which I'm super psyched about in November. And what else? Oh, we finished Wheel of Time.
Okay, I thought Wheel of Time. Well, what did you think of Wheel of Time?
I liked the ending. I actually thought that the finale was actually really good.
Yep,
I felt, but
it took a while to get there.
Yes,
it took a lot of patience.
Yes,
and for most of the season, I was bored. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it was definitely hard to kind of get there in the end. So
part of the problem is that they were all like their own individual storylines. I was like, there were like 8 plot lines, and I was like, this is like so unnecessary, and becomes so much better when they're together. I was like, why did you? Because in the books, they don't all split up. They do have like different threads, but literally they decide to split all of them up. I was like, this is annoying. It got annoying and got boring.
Yeah, it did. I definitely agree. It did get boring. And interestingly enough, I think this episode made me feel like, oh, maybe I'll go read one of the books or see what
my God, it's like 14 books, man. It's a lot.
I mean, yeah. I've known of the Wheel of Time for a long, long time. I had a friend who was really into them and like eagerly awaited every book that would come out, and so I knew of it. I feel like I don't know. So my problem with Wheel of Time is that it's not quite as well known of a universe as Tolkien's. So I feel like maybe this is television, or I don't know. I feel like the world building and the character building gets kind of lost. Like they want you to like these characters and like this universe or this world, and they don't give you a lot to go on.
I agree. It's a lot of I don't know if they need to be like hand holding it more, like the storytelling or the world building, but there's not enough elaboration.
Right.
Like
there is not
about things. Like there's a lot of like, and they'll touch on something and like just move on. I'm like, wait, but there's like actually a lot that you can like say about this or that. But
they're not like moving the action forward, so I don't know what the hell is going on. But it just felt very So
the finale was good though. The finale was engaging. I paid attention to the whole thing.
Yes, so did we. But it was a tough road to get there.
Yes, it was a long road.
Yeah, I still don't necessarily know. Yes, and I felt like,
it's like 3 seasons of Enterprise, and then we get to season 4.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Although, at least if you jumped in season 3 of Enterprise, you sort of know what's going on, Yeah. So that's my biggest problem is the world building with Wheel of Time, because I want some of that backstory. I want to love the worlds and the people, and it's in a lot of ways. In some ways, it's like The Witcher. The Witcher has...
Yes, I agree.
It's like too many different like nations or groups of people, and you have no idea.
They expect a lot from the audience. I'm like, okay, dumb it down for us.
Yeah, well, not even, or just build it out more, like give me a map. Give me, at least with Game of Thrones, right? That's a huge world building thing. They open the series with a map. You see how things are related and the separations and all of that. Like that's what you need for these worlds that aren't like like Tolkien's. It's not
Right.
it's not something that's so wildly well known. And
Yeah.
if you just want the people who've read the books to watch it, then which I don't think is financially viable for you. You want more people to watch it than just the people who read the books. So
Right.
I think world building needs to come back in a better way and give us a little bit more character building too. But yeah, so those are, and I actually really love The Witcher. I think the characters and the actors are really, really good in The Witcher. I just wish I knew more about the world, like all the different realms that they're talking about, like, and how it's all interactive and interacting and whatever. So
I haven't watched season 3 yet of The Witcher.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's good. We enjoyed it. We watched it a while ago. So
I feel I forgot everything in season 2 though. That's the problem. I need to watch a YouTube recap.
Yeah. I can't remember if I did or if we watched the last episode of the previous season, which sometimes helps. But anyway, yeah. So I think that is what I've been watching. What else? Oh, and so all right. So we've already talked about this. I did watch Foundation, right? And then I did not renew my Apple TV Plus subscription because there's nothing on there until next month when I get back from vacation. For All Mankind is back.
I know. Geriatric actors everywhere.
Geriatrics in space.
Yeah. It's everyone's too old. It sounds from the trailer. It sounds like it looks like rather there are new characters.
Oh, there would have to be.
Okay, but everyone else is so old. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this season will answer the question: do wheelchairs work on Mars? It's like, well, will they? I don't know.
I can't think of anything else that's coming up, right?
Have you watched? I know I'm positive I recommended it, but have you watched The Morning Show?
Oh, I did not go back and watch the third season.
Yeah, the third season just came out. Well, just came out like a month ago. Oh, that you ago.
Maybe when I renew it for All Mankind.
It's good.
We'll see.
I mean, it's so enjoyable. It's like trash. I mean, it's not trash, but it's like it's like one of those shows that tries to be very deep, I think, or it has the idea of being deep. It's also very superficial, but the cast is crazy. It's like they got John Hamm this season. Juliana Margulies is still on the show, but she's like a tertiary character. I'm like, how do you get the good wife on the show and she's barely doing anything? Juliana Margulies is a fantastic actress.
Yes.
Literally, I'm like, this cast is so stacked. It's great. I don't know how much money they're paying for the cast. It's insane, but it's very enjoyable. I do recommend it.
Okay. All right.
I am also watching Invasion on Apple TV Plus, which is a snore fest. So slow. Did you try watching it at all? Season 1?
No, I did not. I can't remember why.
It was.
I think I mentioned it to you, and you're like, "I'm trying to watch it. It's a snore fest." I was like, "Okay, that's good enough for me. I'm not gonna."
So what I ended up doing, because I couldn't make it through season 1, is I watched a YouTube recap of season 1, and then I didn't finish season. I watched 5 episodes of season 1, and then skipped all of it, watched a YouTube recap, and then just started watching season 2, and it was fine. Season 2 is a little better.
Is it better?
Season 2 is better. Okay. But sometimes it's like one of those shows where I need to there's not an apt comparison, but literally so the premise is essentially there's an alien invasion. The whole world's aware of it, trying to fight these aliens off, and then we spend all this time with these characters and their petty problems. They'll literally just have these kids. We spend too much time with these kids, for example. They're one of the subset characters, and they're talking about you like her, I like her. I'm like, oh my god, I do not care about your fucking kid problems. These are literally 12-year-olds, and they're like, I know you like her. I'm like, fuck you, fuck all of you. Like, it's just like so annoying. And I'm like, why are we spending so much time on these like really petty things? And then there's another character where she's a mom, and it's about like her and her 2 kids. And I mean, there's like key components to each of the characters that relate to the overall invasion, obviously. But so much time is spent with her and her like just problems, her family issues. And I'm like, oh my God, I do not fucking care. Like, so
there's an invasion going on. Like,
it's just like everything just like slows to a halt when you're like literally there's like this like 5-minute conversation between these 3 kids and like how they like there's a love triangle. I'm like, I don't care. They're like 11, 12 years old. Like, I don't care about your love triangle. Like, really, I don't. So that's a problem with that show.
Okay.
There are certain plot lines that really move things forward, but it's like Discovery. It's like, oh my God, literally evacuate the planet. Do not talk about your life history right now. Like, it's like that. It's like that. So,
all right. So Invasion, what else have you been watching?
Oh, so I've been on a Mike Flanagan kick lately, which I know it's not for you, but he did like Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor. He did Midnight Mass.
No. Thank you.
The Fall of the House of Usher most recently. Excellent. You know, like he's really good at horror storytelling, but it's not scary. I would say it's like drama with some horror elements. And it's all very thoughtfully done. So I binged The Fall of the House of Usher in one sitting. It was about 8 hours of my life.
Oh my God.
I finished at like at 4 a.m.
Oh
this was
my
last
word.
weekend. Yeah.
You are crazy.
Yeah, I was transfixed. And I just started watching The Haunting of Bly Manor, which I never finished previously. But he's a really good storyteller. I love it. So I've been watching that. But other than that, I resubscribed to Netflix recently, so I've been trying to catch up there.
Okay.
And yeah, like we talked about the other stuff I've been watching. Like I started watching Loki. Oh, Gen V. I started watching Gen V, the boy spinoff.
Right. Yeah. I know.
Which I know is not for you. It's too gory. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it's good.
I mean, I watched the first season of The Boys, and then, which was pre-pandemic, and then I think season 2 came out during the pandemic, and it was just, I already thought the first season was overly violent and kind of disgusting at times, and so
it gets
I
worse.
wasn't in the mood. Yeah, I think you had mentioned it gets worse, and I was like, I don't really need that in my life right now. Yeah. No.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot about Gen V. You know, so I know what it is, but I have no interest in.
It's pretty gory. Yeah, it's pretty violent. So there's stuff out there. There's stuff to watch.
Did you watch One Piece? Oh, we watched One Piece.
I started watching it. I fell asleep, but I probably will revisit it.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably.
We enjoyed One Piece. It was really well done. I mean, I enjoyed Cowboy Bebop, but a lot of people didn't. But
I got bored with Bebop. Yeah, I fell asleep.
Yeah. But
I didn't finish.
Oh, I've watched it twice.
Oh my God. Well, yeah. I watched like 6 episodes. I gave it quite a chance. So,
I mean, yeah, it doesn't follow this. So then I watched some of the anime and or maybe I watched the whole of it. I don't remember. It's a while ago. Anyway, I've not watched any of One Piece anime, but I did
like
watch
hundreds of episodes of the anime. It's like it's going forever.
So, but I enjoyed that. That was on Netflix. What else is on Netflix? Great British Bake Off is on Netflix, which we enjoy.
The Crown is coming back. I'm excited for that last season of The Crown. I think in November.
Dennis is the primary watcher of that.
Yes, I'm excited. It goes through the 90s. The 90s and early 2000s. 90s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's when a lot happens for the monarchy. So I'm excited for that. I'm sure there's more stuff on my list. I need to watch. So
you had unsubscribed from Netflix then?
I was on someone else's subscription.
Oh.
And then they cracked down on that. And I was like, another thing to subscribe to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I'm officially subscribed to Netflix, Disney Plus, and Apple TV Plus. Like those are the 3 I'm paying for.
And then you get Amazon for free because you're an Amazon
Oh,
Prime
right.
member.
Sorry. Yes, Amazon. I guess, I'm paying for Amazon as well.
Yeah.
Duh, obviously.
Yeah. But you sort of,
But I use it more. I pay for
the delivery.
Service. Yes.
Yeah, the delivery versus.
I mostly Amazon Prime as like a plus.
Yes.
Yeah. That's not my main reason for paying for it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Yep.
I am paying for it. Yeah.
I get Hulu and Disney Plus for free with Verizon, and they keep on trying to encourage me to change my plan, and I'm like, no way, no.
Oh,
price is going up. There's no way I'm giving that up and having to pay that. I mean, that's like, saving like $250 a year.
Right.
So yeah, no.
Yeah.
And the new plan doesn't lower enough to join and add it on where it would be the same price or like any better. So I'm like, I'm not changing. That's $250 a year that you pay for me. So yeah,
right. Yeah, it's a lot. It builds up. It's a lot of money. God.
Yeah, Dennis pays for Netflix. I pay the phone bill. So technically, I paid for Disney and Hulu, and then
there we go.
Amazon. We both have separate Amazons still. So
really,
yeah.
Why?
We had them when we moved in together, and we just haven't. Yeah, because we both order different things, and it's just So we have our own Amazon.
That's something you should just combine. It's like $100 a year.
Yeah. So, I mean, I share it with Johan. So, I mean, it's sort of.
Oh, share it with Johan, your ex.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we've had. I mean, I've had it since. Yeah, I've had Amazon Prime forever. So
interesting. Okay. All right. I guess it works.
And then Max, I pay. Currently split it, but with other people.
Yeah, Max, I'm on someone else's account. Yeah, Max, Hulu. I think those are the ones I'm on. Someone else's account.
So you got to be. So Max is. I've not seen anything about Max, but Disney has said now that if they find you password sharing, they will just cancel your account.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. It's in their new terms and conditions or whatever, which may also apply to Hulu. So.
Okay.
Well, as an FYI, since they're all
really, they just cancel it like without like a heads up.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like that might.
I feel like a lot of people. They reserve the right to cancel your account without notice.
I don't know if they're going to do that to a lot of people. That's going to be a lot of cancellations. You know what I mean? At least Netflix forced you to go through this process of verification and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is really annoying.
Then it's okay.
Which is really annoying because we had one day it worked, and then the next day I couldn't even use Netflix. Like in our own home on our TV that we just watched on it yesterday. Like suddenly one day they flipped a switch and you had to do this verification, and Dennis was at work, and I was like trying I think I was it was a sick day or I just took a day off and I wanted to just chill, and
that's annoying.
Had to go through all of this hula hoops for it, and we're literally it was a pre-registered device, everything, and it was just annoying.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Took hours and hours and hours to kind of restore it. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. So anyway, anything else you're watching, or is that pretty much it?
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I feel there is, but I do not recall right off the top of my head. I mean, there's plenty of content. So.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's it. Why don't we talk about?
Why don't we talk about Star Trek?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So, well, what is there in terms of Trek news we haven't talked about? Prodigy. Yay!
Prodigy. Yes. Coming to Netflix. That is super exciting.
So we need to all rewatch season 1 just to support it. I feel that just needs to happen. I will just have it up in the background.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just needs to happen.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that. I'm glad they picked it up. And
it seems fitting for them. It's sort of in their, and I think I was discussing this with you, but my concern was they don't do typically weekly releases. But then 5 minutes later, I realized, oh yeah, we watched Great British Bake Off, and that's weekly.
I don't think they'll do weekly. I think they'll do like part 1, part 2, like basically how.
Well, they have the ability to do weekly. I mean, because
they do.
Obviously, the BBC. So Bake Off happens on a Tuesday night in the UK, and we get it on Friday here in the US on Netflix. So
yeah, I think they've done weekly mostly for reality shows. Like I think there was the other show, like The 100 or something. Was it 100 or something like that? It was like this Korean like Ninja Warrior kind of show or something. Yeah, that was also weekly.
Oh, I don't remember the name of it. I didn't realize that.
But it's mostly for reality shows. I haven't seen that for dramas, for scripted.
We'll see what they do with Prodigy.
Yeah,
whether we'll get dumps of it or not. Yeah, but super excited. Hopefully they'll get even a season 3 or more. So
yeah, we'll see. But imagine how long that would take, because they'll probably have to see how season 2 does. And then grant renewal, and then the production time for Prodigy is like forever.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. So we had that. Going back to Comic-Con, which is initially where I was starting with when I brought up Comic-Con.
That's right. Whoops.
I guess. So Alex Kurtzman was there. They must have had a Star Trek panel. And although I don't know who would have been on it other than Alex Kurtzman.
And Mike McMahan was on the same panel, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. So the two of them. But Alex Kurtzman mentioned that there are some other projects.
Brewing.
Brewing.
Yes.
There we go. That's a very October word. Brewing.
Yes. In addition to Section 31 and Academy.
Right. Which he reiterated that Tawny Newsome is writing for. So I feel like she's slowly working her way to potential showrunner at some point.
I mean, I think she's brilliant. I really like her.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, which would be amazing. As long as she keeps playing Mariner.
What was that?
As long as she keeps playing Mariner.
I know. She's just great. I really like her a lot.
Yeah.
I feel they need more, like, Strange New Worlds like shows. I feel Academy is niche. I feel that's going to be for a very specific audience, which I know that was the purpose of what Alex Kurtzman had been trying to do in terms of diversifying Star Trek. But I feel they need more gateway shows like Strange New Worlds, where old fans will like it and new fans can also appreciate it. And I just realized this because one of my close friends, she accidentally subscribed to Paramount Plus, or she didn't cancel it. Like I think she subscribed for something, and she had an extra month, so she told me like, "Hey, I'm just gonna watch Strange New Worlds. Anything I need to know?" I'm like, probably, but it's fine. Just get into it. And then she binged both seasons in like 4 days.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and she was like, "I loved it. It was great." And she may have seen a couple episodes of Next Generation younger, and she's not a Trekkie at all. So she was like, "Is there anything else that you watch?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "Do you want to try Discovery?" I was like, "Try it." She did not like Discovery. She could not get into Discovery. Like she was just like, she's literally. I was like, season 1 I thought was really strong. She was like, "It's so serious. It's so dark," and she's just not. She could not get into it. She literally like told me she would just let it run. She would let just go, and she would go and do the dishes in a different room. And I'm like, okay, like just there's no point. Like just don't bother. And I think
you could suggest season 2 to her.
So season 2, I talked to her about season 2 of obviously Pike, Spock, and number 1. And I was like, I feel like you kind of need to know what happened in season 1 a little bit. And I personally thought, I know we talked about this before, I thought season 1's pretty good. So I was like, oh, maybe, just try it. And she likes Michelle Yeoh, so I thought there was some good stuff in season 1 for Michelle Yeoh and things like that. She just couldn't get into it. She was just so bored. I was like,
yeah, that's
okay.
fair. No. And you didn't throw her back to any 90s Trek? 80s, 90s Trek?
I don't know. For a newcomer, it might be hard. I think it's a little daunting. Like 26 episode seasons, you know what I mean? It's just like so different.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so different, and the pacing so different than what people are used to nowadays.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel it's an investment. Like I feel like if you're interested, I'm like, okay, go back, and like take your time and like watch it. But I think it's tough. Like it's just such a different pace nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, and 10 episode seasons is so different than a 26 episode season that I don't know.
Yeah.
I had someone else actually ask me today. She was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen like a few of the movies. What do you think you should start with?" I was like, "Oh my god." I was like, and then I suggested Strange New Worlds. I was like, "Yeah, try Strange New Worlds. Like that's an easy gateway series." And then she was like, "Do you think I should watch any of the old stuff?" And I was like, "Let me think about that and get back to you."
I mean, you could give her a curated list of specific episodes, I guess.
Yeah, so I was like, I can come up with a curriculum.
Yeah.
Let me think about that.
I can give you a few TOS episodes.
Oh God.
Actually, sending one of the previous friend back, you could send her back to Balance of Terror. At least she would see like the original series version of the finale from season 1.
True.
So, because you can't I think that makes that story even better if you know that what you're seeing is an alternate timeline of that actual episode. But
though I personally thought Balance of Terror was fine.
I love it. It's one of my favorites.
No, I know. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard if you. I know. It's hard to hold attention nowadays. So it's daunting. It's like there's like 900 episodes of television. Like it's just so much.
Yeah.
So I feel they need. I mean, going back to my original point, I feel they need. I don't feel Academy is going to be. I don't know. Maybe it could be for younger people. I have no idea. I have no idea what they want to go, how they want to approach it. In terms of like kind of just like an easy gateway show that old and new fans can enjoy. I feel they need another one. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's as cryptic as ever with his answers to questions. So
yes.
Things brewing could mean, anything. So,
no,
I mean, it could mean Star Trek 4. It could mean, which I know we talked about this before we started recording, but I feel like that should be under Alex Kurtzman's domain as well.
Yeah. I think
I guess we don't know for sure whether it is or not. And then there's all of this talk about...
It's still under JJ. JJ is still, like, when Quentin Tarantino was thinking about it, he was on JJ Abrams. Like, I think it's still under his purview as, like, executive producer. So...
we'll see.
Because remember when they like, Paramount did this whole, like, song and dance last year, and they had JJ Abrams announce Star Trek 4 as, like, in development, like,
I don't remember this, but then again, you know me, I don't remember 6 months ago when they announced the renewal of season 5 of Lower Decks.
My God.
So,
all right, so listeners, now I was talking to Mike we were just on Slack. We were just on Slack this past week, and Mike was like, weird that we haven't heard about season 5 of Lower Decks yet. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, first of all, I was like, am I misremembering? I thought it was me. And so I had to Google it, and then I sent you an article back from like March of 2023. Yeah. It was like season 5, like Lower Decks has been renewed for season 5, and then you were like, I was younger back then. Like, I was not. I was 50. Younger. So yes, it's been.
I was younger been for a while, and clearly I forgot that they got renewed for season 5. So
yeah.
I mean, there was, the overshadowing of, let's see, writer's strike, Discovery being canceled. Gosh, I don't even remember what else, but those two alone. A disappointing First Contact Day, all of those things. So, yeah, I had forgotten. But given what happened with Prodigy, even though Lower Decks is super popular, and
Prodigy was never that popular though. In comparison, no one talked about it.
I hope that we get more than season 5 of Lower Decks.
Yeah, I would say it's like 50-50. Season 5 seasons is pretty decent, at least for this day and age.
And based upon the fact that they're bringing Discovery to close in season 5, I'm wondering if that is the new 7 years.
Discovery is a lot more expensive, though. It's an expensive show. I feel Lower Decks is just animation's never going to be that expensive in comparison.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get a ton more of Strange New Worlds.
Though, honestly, when are we going to get the next season? 2025.
I mean, it's a year from whenever the writer's strike the actors' strike ends, and the time between that and when they start recording. So
I was totally thinking about this. I just feel that shows nowadays, just post-production takes forever. It just takes so much longer than it used to. Because, I think back in when we were having 26 episodes a season, they would have their hiatus, but they were filmed beginning, essentially at the beginning of summer, and then you get the episode in the fall. It was
it was a much shorter run.
They would film an episode a week or so.
Every 7 days, 8 days, they were recording an episode.
Yeah, and they were just pumping those out, and post-production did not take that long. So it's just, nowadays it's just oh my God, they're spending so much more time and money on post.
Which maybe they'll be able to do some of that a little bit quicker with Starfleet Academy.
Maybe.
Something where it's a little more people-based and, but who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll be dipping back into the old catalog more and more.
Yeah, what are we going to talk about, Mike, after Lower Decks is over?
I don't know.
We have this span of time before Discovery, which is still early 2024 TBD.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. What are we going to talk about? We'll have to pick a topic and watch some episodes or do something.
Well, we've been meaning to have guests on, but obviously have not consistently followed up on that. So we can do some guests, maybe.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We can think about it.
Yeah, we can pick guests and have them pick a episode to watch, and we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
TBD. But TBD. I'm sure there'll be something.
We'll figure it out. I am sure. We've been doing this for our 100. This is our 113th episode.
I know. Oh my God. This is coming along. It's been a while.
It's been a long road.
Getting from there to here.
Yes.
But my time is finally near. All right. Well, why don't we talk about this week's or last? By the time our listeners hear this, it will be last week's episode of Lower Decks, Caves.
Yeah, Caves.
Mike, do you have the summary from Memory Alpha at the ready, or do I need to look it up?
I will quickly do that as we talk it out.
Well, I think the interesting thing is, and I heard this from the interview with Mike McMahan as well, or rather, I think it was either an interview or his panel, that they have not released the last 2 episodes for screening purposes, the last 2 episodes of season 5, because apparently Mike McMahan does not want it to be spilled as to what the big story arc is. So he's purposely keeping it under wraps, which is why we have not gotten screeners for those 2 episodes. And apparently he's saying that people have gotten close in terms of their guess as to what this all is about, but no one has gotten it exactly. So we will have something to look forward to. And he also has hinted that we're going to see a new legacy character.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah. It sounds like it's a new legacy character that we haven't seen on Lower Decks before. So it's probably not going to be Riker again.
Okay.
So, yeah, something to look forward to. Okay, the summary on Memory Alpha is brief.
Is it? I mean, I see a summary that like starts with each part of it, but I don't see like a full...
No, scroll to the very top. Literally, the summary says... The Lower Deckers go on a classic cave mission.
Okay.
That's literally the summary. Yes.
That is the summary.
Which is
and interesting. So this is made out to be like a clips episode, right?
Sure.
Which is kind of...
But of moments that we haven't seen before.
Right. So, unlike the last clips episode, which was season 2's finale, Shades of Grey. So, yeah.
Yeah, what did you think of this episode, Mike?
So I just rewatched it a little while ago.
So did I.
You know, because we watched it.
Rushing to watch it.
We were we watched it a while ago when we got this. Some period of when we had the streamers. So let me see. I don't think I loved it the first time around, and it was okay, but. I read an article about it and comparing it to Shades of Grey, and it actually gave me a lot more appreciation of the episode.
Okay.
So, so I, most of the time in clip shows, right? Well, all right. So obviously the cave mission is a very like popular thing. It's sort of like, how can we save money this week on Star Trek?
Right.
Well, we have a setup back with a cave in it. Let's set the story in the cave, which is kind of the in-joke of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Which also leads to they've had like 3 or 4 other adventures, which they haven't shared with one another in caves.
Right.
Or in one case, the turbo lift. Yes. Which is also very reminiscent of... what was it? Disaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
TNG's Disaster.
Yeah.
So looking at it through that lens of... So the comparison is this. Shades of Grey basically went back through the first 2 seasons of Next Gen and picked out scenes or pieces of scenes or whatever, and sort of tied it together as like him reliving through his memory. Whereas this episode of Lower Decks is actually giving us new and exciting information about our favorite characters.
Yes.
So, in that light, it is actually pretty interesting, and it's the fact I love the fact that because they're now lieutenants, they are on all different away missions. Not with each other, So. So let's see. Boimler goes with Levy, which is our rando conspiracy nut. Yes.
Yeah.
Which I think it's a great comedic vehicle, but it's annoying as hell because it's just like we have enough conspiracy theorists in this world who are ruining life for a lot of people. And,
oh my god!
To have a Star Trek character who's doing that, who is a Wolf 359 denier.
Oh my god!
Crap like that. But it's so Boimler goes with Levy and into a cave adventure. They find this Ventraxians or something.
Vendorians.
Which is
from Vendor Prime,
which seems like very like almost laziness, like Andor, Vendor. I mean,
sure,
But anyway, so we have that. We have Rutherford with Dr. Tiana, which actually I think that's my favorite story out of all of these. because it combines a couple of different like ideas from that we've seen in the past in Star Trek. And then let's see,
we have
that's Rutherford, Boimler,
the Manor of Delta Shift.
Yeah, with Delta Shift, which so they're all like leading away missions. Although Levy is sort of a full lieutenant and Boimler is only like a Lieutenant JG, but it seemed like Boimler was more in charge, or maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, there's that, and Mariner's leading an away mission, and then Tendi just wants to talk about it. They were stuck in the
turbo lift. Yeah, yeah.
So, which dates back to season 1, basically.
Yeah.
Between season 1 and season 2.
So it was season 1. It was season 1, episode 1.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, when they were dealing with that rage virus, that was episode 1. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I thought it was clever. I thought it was cute. I thought that it was great to like bring in so many different cast members, or different crew members is what I meant.
Right.
Crew into it. I think it breaks things up to the like. It sort of separates them from being like typical ensigns who are kind of doing things together or whatever, and they're like growing up, sort of doing their own missions. So, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, and I laughed at the end because they're on like the Vendorians were at the end of the episode, but they were on a different planet. So not Vendor Prime.
No.
So I enjoyed it. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the first time I watched it, because it was, I felt that the other episodes. Well, we can also talk a little about like where we've gotten to at this point. Like obviously we had like a lot of different episodes leading up to this between Tendi visiting her family, and then we get Peanut Hamper and yada yada yada. We still have this through line of this alien ship that's been destroying ships, but not really. Like it's something's going on.
Yep.
I feel like though 7 episodes worth, we don't really get much. Like we don't get much progress when it comes to what's going on. It's a little repetitive actually, and I think it's only in episode 7 that we get a bit more of a hint as to what's been happening.
Oh no, I have to go back and watch 7 again then.
Basically, I think they were like, like everyone's actually being like transported off or something like that.
Okay.
I think that's what it was.
Okay, I couldn't remember if that was an actual thing or whether that was a theory that we had.
I don't remember anymore. But... It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a moment, or it was like either they're getting transported. I know we are also theorizing. It's either people getting transported off, or they're actually taking the ships or something.
But there's debris left, right? There's debris left.
That's like a red herring of some sort. Anyway,
I
don't remember. I need to go back. It's been I think it's been 2 months since I watched the episode. So because we watched all of it when we got the screener a while ago.
Yeah, I watched it in halves, I think. So
but I feel that when I first watched this episode, not that I was, oh my god, I need to know what's going on with this larger plot line. I also was like, to your point, it kind of felt like it's kind of out of left field. It's kind of filler a little bit. And what's going on? I think Lower Decks is one of those shows where I do not feel urgency to watch. Even when we get the screeners, I'm like, I gotta watch all 8 episodes now.
Yeah,
I watched it over like a couple sittings. It was like, obviously I enjoy it when I watch it, but it's not must-see television for me in the same way that I would say Strange New Worlds was, or even Discovery was.
Yeah.
It's just not. So when we got this episode, I was like, okay, it's kind of a filler. It's fine. I did enjoy it though more on the second watch, on the rewatch. I think have that break and then kind of let go of what's going on in the larger story, I was able to kind of enjoy it for what it was and enjoy some of the obviously very tongue-in-cheek commentary about cave episodes and how every cave set is the same. And oh, look, and Mariner had this great line like, "Oh yeah, a bunch of rocks beat centuries of technological progress." Like,
Yes.
she had some good one-liners about because she hates caves because every time they're in a cave, some sort of issue or disaster, or they can't reach anyone, or yada yada. So I liked a lot of that kind of humor and a lot of that commentary about cave episodes. So that was enjoyable. So once I kind of like let go of what the expectations were for this episode and kind of just tried to enjoy for what it was, I definitely enjoyed it a lot more. And it was also, to your point, it kind of also points to a bit of character progression because they have not been with each other as much because of their promotion, and now they're leading away missions, they're doing their own shit. So they haven't had the opportunity to just get together and hang out and be on a mission together. So that was kind of nice to kind of acknowledge that and to kind of give them all, some of their own storylines and things going on. I mean, I think the
feels more real, right? It feels more like the trope for the longest time was that they're ensigns, and now it's sort of like we're actually like doing a little bit more grown up trekking, but we still have all these little in jokes and these Easter eggs and things and that we normally do, but we're actually we are seeing these characters grow and develop.
Yes. So that I thought was good. I think that the storylines were fine. Like, they were fine. They weren't like, oh my god, like riveting. But
then again, cave episodes are not riveting, really. It's like the mysteries in the cave, and there's interpersonal conflict, and that's it. And it's something alien. I mean, it's very formulaic. Right.
So, but I like that they were also they had a very human reaction to their, to the stories, because they were like, wait, you did this and didn't tell us? And I think that's like the, when I thought about that, it's like any friendship, as friendships grow and evolve and you start to have your own thing. And I was talking to another friend about this yesterday. It's, to me, that would be friends that become parents and they start to, the focus of their lives is start to change because they're at a different life stage, and they can't hang out as much because they need to take care of someone and they need to figure all that out and things like that. And I think when that was happening to me, my initial reaction to that was kind of frustration when that started happening to me and my friends started to have kids, and I was like, oh, all right, that's fine. You do your own thing. And it was frustration / kind of a bit of, I think, desire for things to stay the way they are, but that's not how life works. So it kind of reminded me of that a little bit, of how people you go into these different life stages through friendship, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the friendship's gone, but it's just like the friendship changes. And it takes a little bit more intentionality to stay friends, So
look at you pulling the life lessons out of Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yeah, very good, very good. Mike McMahan would be so proud right now.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be awesome if he listened to our podcast. So
or at least this part of it anyway.
Sure. I mean, he need to get through the first 60 minutes of us talking about other shit, and then but yeah.
Yes.
But so I'm actually, this episode's fine. I am excited to see where the rest of the season goes, and if we're gonna get a bit.
Well,
so
now
what kind of reveal?
Now that you sort of said, I mean, now it'll be interesting if we do get screeners at all or not. And if not, then
then what? Oh my god!
Then it will become like must-see television because you don't want to be spoiled on it.
I know.
So, yeah. But I think there's a number of podcasts who kind of rely on like these screeners to get their episodes done and out. So this will be interesting.
So because they publish on Fridays, and they'll have the episode review. Right. And obviously, they record that in advance. So
yeah. So yeah. Well.
So let's see.
Yeah. We'll have to see.
Did you have anything else to say about Caves, or really this season so far, even?
Well, I realized I'd only watched 6 and 7 once, because I went to Paramount Plus to rewatch this one, and I realized I hadn't actually watched 6 and 7 on Paramount Plus. So I've only watched them once. I think the one thing that actually came back to me, and is Mariner and Boimler's kind of adventure on Ferenginar. I think they're on Ferenginar, right?
Yeah.
And just that, as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, they both did very Sabine-ish things as well. I mean, Boimler is an idiot for getting sucked into television, and then like just being like having his like. At first it was like, oh my gosh, he has a schedule just like Johnson would,
of course,
spreadsheet. So that came to mind, but then Mariner can be such a brat about things, even and I think even at the beginning of this episode, Caves, she's like whining because it's a cave episode, they're going into a cave.
Right.
So, it sort of reminded, like, because I think I was like, oh, and Tendi and Rutherford pretended to be married in order to.
Right. And then you got some of that sexual attention.
Yeah. Some weird. Yeah, that was a weirdish episode. I think I was kind of annoyed at all of the characters in that. So yeah, I think that maybe I think that would be my least favorite one. Other than I hate Badgie and and Peanut Hamper. So those are two of my least favorite characters. So which is probably to explain why I have not rewatched either of those episodes.
That episode was I thought that episode was interesting because it took those characters in an unexpected direction for me, like in terms of Badgie basically like ascended like to our airplane of existence,
right? Yeah, which is actually kind of funny and repeats back to what happened in season 1, was it?
Yeah, season 1 episode. Season 2
of that
it's all fuzzy.
The end
and the koala.
The koala,
yes.
So there's that. I guess
and then Peanut Hamper. Yeah, Agamus
tells Boimler the truth about this thing, which is, I guess, where we're getting the beaming of they're absorbing. Or
whatever it was. Yes, he gives them more clues. Yeah.
More clues. And then Peanut Hamper goes back to home. Her
that
root.
Drill from A Quality of Life. That was the Exocomp episode in TNG.
Yeah. So, also now
so she goes back to being like a regular Exocomp, just doing her thing, and then Agamus goes back to Daystrom. I didn't expect that to be the resolution for those characters. I know that you aren't too big a fan. I expected something more, but I was like, all right, whatever. That's it's also
actually
fine.
For that episode. Now that I'm thinking back to it, I enjoyed the Boimler Agamus piece of it. I think that was mainly because I love Jeffrey Combs. I think the voice and
he's always
that was and I sort of liked his whole plot line, like you want to take over a planet,
right?
So that but I can't stand Badgie. I'm glad that they have ascended to another plane we get whatever 4 different versions of Badgie, which
I was
just
thinking about when I was
insane.
watching it. I was like, oh man, it's a lot of Badgies. Mike's gonna hate this.
Yeah. So I wasn't that excited about the Badgies.
Yeah.
Although I was excited to see the bridge crew and like kind of like the whole like Rutherford won against the captain, right? To beam over or whatever. So
yeah, yes.
I feel like there should have been some consequences from that. But I don't remember if there were.
I don't think so.
We have we didn't even, we have the Talin episode where her emotions are the ones that are affected everyone, not the Betazoids.
Yeah, the Betazoid
which
ambassadors.
Yeah,
their intelligence.
Whatever they are. So yeah, it's been an interesting season. I think I enjoyed them when, I enjoyed them as I would, but I didn't really give them much thought. And since we're recording just once a month, basically, I didn't have to like pay super attention to the details and like think it out to think about talking about it. So
right,
it's definitely it's been an interesting season. I'm really curious what Agamis told Boimler that he's going to share with the captain, and I'm fine if they don't give us screeners for 9 and 10. That's fine. Don't.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Let us watch it with everybody else and see.
Yeah. I feel sometimes because we watch it in advance, we kind of there's something that we lose out on, because it's like once the discourse happens, I'm like, oh man, I like watched this episode like four weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember what this is about.
Yeah.
So I feel something. So yeah, sometimes it's good and bad. I mean, obviously love getting the episodes early and having that option, but there is something to be said about kind of experience it with other people and like.
Well, I think it's slightly different with Lower Decks versus Strange New Worlds, where we're like super like we both love Strange New Worlds. So
or Picard. Like Picard was like, give it to me, especially because it's much more serialized and sort of storytelling. Strange New Worlds, I'll watch all of it, but because it's so episodic, it's very contained versus like Picard's like, I need to know what happens next.
Yeah. Oh, and I think I rewatched Picard too. I think I rewatched the whole season at this point.
How was it? Second time around?
I know, maybe I'm halfway through. I forget.
Oh, okay. How is it second time around?
Good. I mean, you pick up on a lot more nuances. You get to enjoy it. Like you can just pick up on a little bit more, I feel like. Just enjoy the details, watch the background a little bit more, watch the character nuances. Also I think it's at least so when I watched episode 4, which was when Picard and Riker, it was the 18 seconds. I think it's after the 18 seconds, right? Or whenever because at the end he told them to fire, and then the portal weapon just damaged the ship. At least you felt like you could see the conflict, but you could see it from a less shocking standpoint. If that makes sense. Remember, we were was like,
we were both like,
I was like, oh my god, these two guys who are best, like very close forever and ever, are
so much conflict.
Yeah, so much conflict.
Yeah.
So that puts it into a different perspective. The one thing about the whole Prodigy thing, if I can bring that in, because it's going to tie into, I almost want to pick up a copy of Picard on DVD just to have at least this third season, just because it is so freaking good. And I'm listening to his autobiography, making it.
Oh, really? Oh, we should have covered that beginning. How is that going?
Autobiographies for me are like, I take them in like spurts. Like I can listen for a little while and then but it's really interesting. Literally, I don't know, maybe a third, maybe a quarter of the way through it.
Okay.
So he's what is he, like 25 right now? So I'm like, oh my gosh, like we have a long way to go.
Oh my god.
But I love listening to Patrick Stewart. And he's actually had a really interesting life. So I'm fascinated by a lot of it. So yeah.
Definitely more interesting than ours.
Our autobiography,
our lives.
Our life. Oh yes, for sure. So yeah, yeah, that's yeah. I don't know how I got off on this tangent, but
no, well, anyway. We were talking about just Lower Decks and how we felt about the season and how that's been going. So
yeah, and then so I need to finish watching Picard. I think I'm in episode 5 right now, or wherever I was. But I think I got into season 4 of DS9.
Oh wow, okay.
I think, or am I still in season 3? I don't know. It's been a while, so a hot minute since I've been watching that. So I need to go back and watch some more of that.
Yeah.
But yeah. But no new books are coming out. Like it's really like I feel like because of the actors' strike, but also because of the writers' strike.
Spell.
Yeah, I feel like we're going into a dry spell. So
yeah, we're gonna soon. Before we know it, we're just gonna be watching all K-dramas. Like that'll be the only thing we'll be watching because they're still pumping out content.
Oh, I couldn't get back into Alice in
Borderland.
Thank you. Yeah.
I don't think season 2 is as good. Season 1 was definitely more riveting. Season 2. I think it's also done. I think it's also like they're finished.
Oh, okay.
But I still enjoyed it. Yeah. I still liked it, but it's definitely not as not as riveting as season 1. So yeah. Anyway,
well, there we go.
Yes, there we go.
That's a good amount of discussion about everything from life to Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, it's been a minute, so it's nice to catch up. Well, we'll see. We'll see where the next recording takes us. I'm sure it'll be after the finale of Lower Decks, and maybe we can do maybe our next episode can be kind of like a recap of the season, and we'll have to also figure out what we're going to do next. So,
yeah.
And oh my God, by the time we record next time, it's going to be right around Thanksgiving. It's like the year's over.
Oh yeah, I mean, with vacation and traveling and everything.
Yeah, year's over. Back in August, I was like, the year's over. You didn't believe me, and it's okay.
Well, I mean, it's yes.
It's gone by. Fall goes by so fast, and So.
Well, I mean, we're still in fall. I mean, it's only been a month into fall. We still have 2 more months of fall.
I know. When does daylight savings start? When does it get darker earlier?
I don't know. I don't want to know these things.
Okay.
I do not need anything negative to think about.
Denial really is helpful. Cool. Well, Mike.
Wow. Yeah. Sarcasm and bitchiness all in one statement.
Very
productive.
There you go. Wow. Well, Mike, do you want to talk a little bit about our sponsor?
Sure. Fansets is the sponsor of Deep Space Pride and the Trek Geeks Podcast Network. And I haven't caught up on what has been the latest releases for them, but I'm happy to say that there are some new Section 31 Delta magnets and pins, which look really great. There's the new Star Trek Discovery XL Master Ship collection. I have 2 of them. I have the Enterprise A and the Enterprise D. On my shelf here, and they also have the Borg Slayer Deltas, both magnetic and pin, and we have a Garrick pin speaking of which, that was the last Star Trek book that I listened to, was A Stitch in Time, read by Andy Robinson. So head on over to Fansets and check out these pins and so many more. And they've redone some new grooved end of Picard season 3, the new gold deltas.
Okay.
So they've been busy.
Oh my God, what was that?
That was Hamish and his bones.
Okay.
Always interrupting our podcast. So head on over to fansets.com. Put a bunch of these pins into your cart. If you enter the code TrekGeeks, you're going to save 10% off your order. And if it's over $30, you're going to get free shipping in the US. And we want to thank Fansets for being the premier sponsor of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network and Deep Space Pride.
Thanks, Fansets. All right. Well, we also love to hear from you. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, you can reach us at Gmail, or rather email at deepspacepride@gmail.com. And you can also find us on social media on X/Twitter and Instagram at Deep Space Pride.
Which we've not been active on.
We have not posted. I have not posted. I have not checked. I have not looked at any DMs. So
I do check the DMs once in a while. Nothing in there. But we have not posted in a long time.
Yeah.
So maybe we should get on that.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Cool. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Really enjoyed. Well, hope you enjoyed our discussion.
We've given you a plethora of choices of topics, topics and other media to watch,
other shows to watch. In addition to Star Trek.
Yeah, so you can line these episodes and shows up after Lower Decks concludes in 2 weeks. So you'll have some stuff to watch. Yeah.
Cool.
There we go.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Deep Space Pride is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network at trekgeeks.com, or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.